Students from Atlanta Public Schools already streaming into the seats at McCamish. A little field trip for some hoops, and we are underway with Georgia Tech controlling the tap and the point guard, Ariadna Termis. Two returning starters for Georgia Tech, and Ariadna Termis and Ines Noedo. As Noedo takes it on the cut, her pass was smothered, recovered by Noedo. Talayah Walker, the Penn State transfer, to the hoop, and she gets the season underway with a bucket. Radford's starting five looks like this, and just 34% shooting, 24% from three. In that loss to Wake Forest, Williams, Nice, Taylor, Kate Carlson, also preseason All-Big South, and the freshman Georgia Simonson, also a team-high 11 points in that loss to Wake Forest. This is Simonson, defended by the 6'6" Termis. Shot clock at 5. She'll take a refeed. Has to hurry. And that pass across the baseline was deflected. Stays with Radford, just 0.4 of a second to shoot.
And this is a good showing by Georgia Tech. You see they're in there man-to-man. Radford's playing a zone on the other end, but Georgia Tech's being aggressive, getting hands in the passing lane, and we see that deflection.
Well, Karen Blair's mantra is defend, rebound, and run. And that lob doesn't find a target. On the run it comes to Ariadna Termis. Has reinforcement. She'll take it in. Got blocked by Simonson, but a foul called.
But early, I like what I'm seeing from Georgia Tech. They are attacking and going to the basket. And we know that it's going to take some time for them to get acclimated to Coach Blair's system. But Ariadna Termis does a good job, takes it on her own, and draws that foul.
And Karen Blair likes the team speed that she has to begin the season. Ariadna Termis, whom she calls perhaps her team's most important player. Redshirt sophomore from Atlanta, first year in the program after beginning at Texas A&M, where she started 7 of the Aggies' last 8 games last season.
Yeah, attended St. Francis in the metro Atlanta area, so I know she's happy to be back home.
Was a 67% free throw shooter last year, and off the ricochet, Georgia Tech retains. Georgia Tech has won its last 12 home openers. As we take a look at the Yellow Jackets starting five, Noedo, one dribble, contested jumper, and she draws a foul as well. That one goes against the 6'1" sophomore, Angelina Nice, and you will never turn down experience when it's your first year on the bench, and Georgia Tech has that in the senior Ines Noedo from Gijón, Spain.
Yeah, Noedo has a lot of experience playing for Georgia Tech, being a senior this year, but, you know, she has a lot of savvy. Defensively, she can match up against the opposing team's best player. But this season, she's looking to get her offense going. You know, she can be more consistent offensively, but we know she can be a lockdown defender when asked to be.
Sort of been a super glue player in her first 3 seasons. Connects on a pair of free throws. Tech the 5-0 lead. Joy Williams, her first touch. Preseason first team All-Big South after she averaged 12 points on 38% shooting last year. The turnaround is flat by Taylor. Rebound to the Jackets. Moon slices in and will wheel out and reset. Georgia Tech 27-4 against non-conference opponents in McCamish Pavilion over the last 5 years. Turnage on the step out, lobs over the top to Termis. Nice job from the help side by Williams to punch it loose.
Yeah, that was good anticipation by Williams. She saw that ball coming, and she was able to get the deflection.
Straight from the scouting report as Turnage smothers that pass. Brianna Turnage, they call her Snoop, played her high school ball down the road at Westlake in Atlanta. 3 years at Florida State, where she appeared in 90 games. Karen Blair's first transfer commitment certainly was not the last.
No, it wasn't. It's a whole new identity for this Georgia Tech ball club that we saw a season ago.
Williams fights her way into the lane. The fall away is short. Missed everything. Rebound to Talayah Walker. Walker, the sophomore, played last year at Penn State. Started 2 games, appeared in 29. Termis has mid-range touch. Noedo does as well. She slings it over to Moon. Oh, great pass. Turnage can't finish. A dime, though, by Walker. But Turnage unable to flip it in.
Yeah, that was a good look, especially against this Radford zone. You got to find a pass out of it.
The 3 by Nice is nice.
It's nice.
Angelina Nice, just 3 of 20 from deep last year. The sophomore from Round Hill, Virginia, puts the Highlanders on the board.
But we know that's something Radford wants to do. They're going to let that three-point shot fly. 33 attempts against Wake Forest.
Although Mike McGuire told us way too much for his liking. Walker posting and dishing out to Moon. Shot clock at 4. She'll have to create. The crossover, the stutter, the drive, the runner, and that doesn't draw rim. Radford with a chance to run. Now the Highlanders locked it down defensively in that first quarter versus Wake Forest on Monday. A second three is off the mark. They held the Demon Deacons fell into 1 of 18 field goal shooting in that first quarter. Nueto catch and shoot 3. It was clean and it was pure.
And that's big time for Nueto. Get her going. She has the capability of knocking down that three-point shot in seasons past. She struggled a bit, but that's a good look and a good start for her.
Well, you're catching your shooting rhythm. Those numbers always go up. Just
right.
25% three-point shooter last year. Makes it 8-3 Georgia Tech. Just underway in our first quarter. Entry pass is poked away. Recycled to Taylor. Driving it on Turnage, who rejects it. Using that telescopic length, and it triggers a run out for the Yellow Jackets. Termis trails and catches, and a travel called on Termis.
Yeah, she didn't get her feet set when she caught that pass and was ready to move it to the other side, but instead gets called for the steps.
Termis will come out. Couple of subs off Karen Blair's bench. And Talayah Foster, the Austin Peay transfer. You see her, number 23. And also Deasia Thomas-Harris, one of those returning players. That might be a travel as well. It is on Cherish Haywood, the freshman. The team's exchanging turnovers, and that picture just about says it all for Mike McGuire.
It does. Right now, Coach McGuire's team is trying to figure out what they need to do offensively. Georgia Tech is doing a great job in their half-court sets defensively. Radford has done a great job in this zone as well. Let's see if Georgia Tech can get something out of it.
Thomas-Harris has the ISO, misfires on the jumper. Only played 5 games last year because of a stress fracture, was really limited as she's out to chase. The blow-by, the floater, and that is good. Nicely done, start to finish by the freshman Simonson.
And Simonson, she had a good game against Wake. 11 points, 9 rebounds. She was their leading rebounder, so she's looking to attack, get some easy buckets around the rim.
Native of Fairfax, Virginia. Coach McGuire calls her a natural athlete. The high-low Thomas got the deep seal, but it's well contested by Simonson, and she rips it away.
That was, and Simonson just stood straight up and contested that shot, made it difficult.
A 3 to tie. That is off the heel. Rebound, Thomas-Harris. Moon bullet pass in transition was deflected away by Williams. Trying to find a streaking Talayah Foster as we've hit our first timeout. 4:58 in the first quarter of the season opener for the Yellow Jackets, behind 5 from
play, and you need that, and especially trying to get a rhythm, in the non-conference season to pick up some wins, because once you get into ACC play, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's an intriguing blend of transfers. You have productive mid-major players looking for to prove themselves at a higher level.
Sure.
You have power conference players transferring to Georgia Tech looking for an expanded role. Meanwhile, how about the start by Inés Nueto? 7 of the Jackets' 10 points. Nice posting and pitching. The three-pointer is up and good. That is Talayah Walker, fresh off the bench, and her first touch is a good one.
It is, and that was a good-looking shot. Coach McGuire was happy to see that, because finally they're getting another basket, or they got another basket.
Big South All-Freshman a season ago. The now redshirt sophomore from Franklin, Indiana. Moon working the two-man game with Turnage. Funnels it down to Thomas-Harris. Spins off the hip of her defender. Doesn't get the touch. Tries to keep that tap alive. It's flagged down in the corner and last off of Radford.
But that's good work to see from Thomas-Harris, being aggressive, attacking, even though she didn't get that bucket. But looking at this play right now, nice handoff by Thomas-Harris. Nueto, she gets it in rhythm and knocks it down, and that was a big three-point shot right there by Talayah Walker, coming off the bench, getting it going.
Meanwhile, Nueto, her season high last year was 13 points, already halfway to that with 7. As Turnage takes the inbound. Yellow Jackets 3 of their first 8 from the field. Walker down the lane. She's hemmed in. Turnage puts it on the deck. Great defense, forces a reset to Nueto. She got a step, doesn't get the roll that time, and a loose ball foul. It's going on the Yellow Jackets and Foster. Talayah Foster, the junior from Riverdale, Georgia, spent her first 2 years at Austin Peay, her first, Georgia Tech's first. And some substitutions now for Georgia Tech, including Catherine Alben. There she is in that defensive crouch, and a very familiar sight to Michael Guire in this Radford team because she comes from the Big South and Charleston Southern, where she was also first team all-conference. The jump ball as Foster got the tie-up. Arrow keeps it with Radford.
Yeah, that was a nice tie-up right there by Walker, and she's able to get her hands on it. But, you know, we talked with Coach Blair yesterday, and she talked about her being a two-way player for this squad and getting bigger in the weight room, getting that strength up, and we see it right there, getting that tie-up and getting the jump ball.
True power guard, as Karen Blair describes her. Haywood on the attack, rolls it off. Offensive rebound, the stick back doesn't drop by Anaya Jenkins. And here come the Jackets. Walker surveys Thomas Harris around the horn to Nueto. Termis is 6'6", has range out to the three-point line. She's marooned. Nueto 7 early points, a drive and dish. Thomas Harris mid-range, doesn't get it. Termis using every bit of that 6'6" frame, trying to throw across to Thomas Harris. It ricochets down to Nueto. Alben will try to take advantage of the scramble. Walker sealed in. Great defense by the freshman Haywood. Nueto from the top of the arc, no. Boy, great half-court possession defensively by the Highlanders, Fallon.
That was, and you see that they're switching it up. That time in a man-to-man, getting out of that zone, but being very aggressive and forcing Georgia Tech into some tough shots.
Jenkins, the transfer from Towson. Unloads to Talayah Walker. Spots the seam on Nueto. Oh, the ball fake and the lay-in by Talayah Walker. Clip that one.
Now, that was kind of nasty. I mean, she had the nice little head fake and then does the Euro and gets to the basket with the lay-in.
Ties this game at 10. Talayah Walker was the Highlanders' leading bench scorer against Wake Forest with 9 points. Active hands leads to the turnover. Chance for Radford to take its first lead. Nice already has a 3. To a trailing Talayah Walker. She has a 3 as well. That one kicks off. The rebound and the stick back and a foul will send the Highlanders to the free throw line. Thomas Harris got the block, but it looks like Nice will get the free throws.
Yeah, this move right here. Ooh, nice fake. And she was ready to go. Thomas Harris falls forward, jumps, and she goes right underneath with the Euro step and the finish. Talayah Walker comes into this game with a quick 5 points.
Man, it's too early in the morning for sauce like that, Fallon.
You got to save that for the afternoon.
Ooh. So Angelina Nice at the free throw line had 3 points against Wake Forest. Still trying to give Radford its first lead of the quarter. Talayah Walker, that surname very familiar to Radford fans. She's the third Talayah Walker sister to suit up for the Highlanders. An 0-2 trip, although Jenkins flags down the rebound into fresh possession for Radford. Snapped around, Talayah Walker thought about the 3. She'll get called for steps instead.
I mean, she's feeling it. She's trying to put some moves down. Went a little too fast on that last one, gets called for the travel. But I know Coach McGuire is happy what he's seeing from her early off of the bench.
And something that Karen Blair noticed when she broke down the film of Radford's opener versus Wake Forest, she relayed this to us yesterday. They did not settle. They worked their way into great shots off the cut. Turnage muscles her way in. That weak side cut. Snoop Turnage, the senior from Atlanta, with her first bucket.
Yeah, that was a good cut. You see something finally, Georgia Tech getting a shot within their offensive sets in Coach Blair's system.
Yeah, some crisp ball rotation by the Yellow Jackets. Kira Dandridge. Down the shoot to Anna Stromberg, the sophomore. Shot clock at 7. Hayward trying to detach herself from Alben. A pump fake. Talayah Walker steps into the shot. No good. Rebound violated around. Snatched by the Jackets. Inside of a minute in our first quarter. Well played so far between the Jackets and Highlanders.
And this is a good opportunity for Georgia Tech. Moving the basketball. You see Radford still in this man-to-man.
Another strong cut. Woo! No look inside. Turnage trying to feed the low post. The reverse doesn't fall, but a foul called. And it'll send Walker to the free throw line. Missed the initial layup, but she'll get 2 free throws.
Yeah, and that was a good look by Turnage to Walker, giving her a nice pass and leading her to the basket right there, but she misses the layup, but is still fighting hard, gets her offensive rebound, and gets the foul.
That was a nifty no-look by Turnage. Walker was a 78% foul shooter last year at Penn State. Rattles it down to make it 13-10 Jackets, and she had some impressive stat lines as a freshman for the Nittany Lions. 18 points, 4 assists against Juju Watkins and number 4 Southern Cal. Also at 5'10", pulled down 9 rebounds against UCLA, which was #1 in the nation at the time. You get 9 rebounds when you're facing the front line with Lauren Betts. I'd say you're doing some good work.
No, that's solid work, especially in that conference in the Big Ten with all those great teams that were added a couple of seasons ago.
Alben racing in forecourt. Around to Savannah Samuel. Her 3 is online but heavy. And Radford can hold for one final shot. Radford just 4 of 14 from the floor, but down 3. Ball in the hands of Talayah Walker, who is Big South All-Freshman a season ago. Turnage clings to her. Talayah Walker now draws Samuel on the switch. The hezzy, the drive, the underhand layup rolls off. See if Georgia Tech can get a bucket here. They may hold and take us to the quarter break, and they will. 7 points from Ines Noero, one of the returners.
Since that 2019 team that he led to the NCAA tournament. So he has high hopes for this squad, and, you know, they're in a position where they could come out and have a chance of winning the Big South.
And this team rings out a turnover on the opening possession of the second quarter. And, you know, not to be too cynical, but it's just the reality in this day and age in college basketball. You have 2 all-conference players who are underclassmen. Sure. Naturally,
every
people are going to be circling those names,
right?
And hoping that you can coax them into the portal. But nah, Kate Carlson, Joy Williams back wearing Radford colors. And that is why Radford has ambitions that go deep into March this season, chasing a 3-point deficit here. Off the curl, Savannah Samuel, another one of those ACC transfers, spent last season at Boston College, but a native of Woodstock, Georgia. There's another throwaway. Williams can't turn the corner on Turnage. Simonson has had a couple of nice offensive possessions, the freshman, in that first quarter. As it's reset to Williams.
Right now you have Georgia Tech in a zone rather than man-to-man.
Running layup doesn't fall by Taylor, ripped away by Ariadna Termis, her 4th rebound of the day.
But that was good defense by Walker, moving her feet, making that shot difficult.
Moon down to a flashing Walker. Termis, the catch and shoot 3, no good. Ariadna Termis has really dedicated herself to becoming a back-to-the-basket post player as Turnage jumped the pass and got the steal in backcourt.
By herself. It just talks about her length and athleticism.
Samuel was open, couldn't handle that bounce pass to Moon. It was a touch behind her as Georgia Tech leaves empty-handed.
Right now, you just got to calm down a little bit. But Coach Morgan Williams, you know, little throwback during her time when she was at Radford as an assistant the last 2 seasons, her first year here at Georgia Tech.
Mike McGuire said, I'm pretty sure I know who had the scouting report on that Georgia Tech bench. Possession arrow keeps it with Radford rather. Morgan Williams, been 2 seasons as an assistant coach for Mike McGuire. Very thrilled for her continued success.
Well, that's what it's all about. You know, you get the opportunities to move up as an assistant and, you know, explore and, you know, pursue different avenues in, you know, your aspirations of becoming a head coach one day. So that's huge for her.
We're joking with Mike McGuire. Instinct may have told Morgan Williams to come over to the Radford huddle. Had to make sure she was on the right bench. 3-pointer back rim by Jenkins and is tapped out last by the Jackets.
But Georgia Tech, I mean, with both of these teams, you know, it's been spurts where they've been able to knock down shots, but it's been really a defensive battle. I mean, it hasn't been great shooting for either one of these squads. But I know both teams still trying to find a rhythm offensively.
Dandridge runs the pick and roll. Will turn her back on Samuel. Can't duck in, spins and misfires. Makes Radford 4 of 19 from the floor. Georgia Tech hunting in transition. Samuel with a pump fake. Got the blow by baseline. Leaves the bank shot short, but she was fouled.
And that was a good job by Samuel. She didn't settle for that 3-point shot. Saw the defender from Radford coming at her and just gave a little pump fake. Decided to take a couple dribbles in to get a closer shot. And instead draws the foul, and she's at the free throw line for 2 shots.
It's the second foul on the freshman Georgia Simonson. Samuel spent last season at Boston College. He was the Eagles' top bench scorer. Averaged nearly 20 minutes per game. Well-traveled. Began her career out in Corvallis. 2 seasons at West Virginia. And in fact, she had 9 points, 3 rebounds, a pair of threes against this Radford team as a sophomore with the Mountaineers in November of 2021. Cashes in the second. Georgia Tech up by 5. Following her former assistant coach, Chris Meadows Sr. from BC to Georgia Tech. Chris Meadows also part of Karen Blair's inaugural staff, and a double dribble in backcourt against Williams.
And that was the first time we saw Georgia Tech in that full court press. That pressure caused that turnover. And let's see what Georgia Tech, if they can take advantage of it.
And caught the normally sure-handed junior Joy Williams off guard. 5-point Tech lead. Walker to a flashing Termis. Termis trying to post. That entry was kicked by Dandridge.
But the spacing is totally off for Georgia Tech right now, and you have to applaud Radford's defense. They're switching it up, causing confusion for Georgia Tech. Either they're in the man-to-man, that possession they were in that zone, and you see they look like they might be staying with it, but making it difficult for Georgia Tech to get any type of entry pass into the lane.
And perhaps because of that, Karen Blair brings back her senior Ines Noeto, who had 7 first-quarter points. And Ellie Taylor catches a breather as well.
Trying to make sure that hair stays straight,
got to. Got to look good here. And you're on ACC Network. Noeto off the handoff, the jump stop, and the kick out to Moon. Termis with the fan out, an open Walker. She'll take it to the rack, slicing through and scoring.
And that's what she can do. She can go in attack mode, very strong, athletic, and can finish at the rim. And I think that's her bread and butter, and she's done that a couple of times early in this one.
5.5 points per game last year as a freshman at Penn State for Talayah Walker, the native of Odenton, Maryland. Georgia Tech with its largest lead. Dandridge waves off the screen, plugs it to Jenkins. Williams behind the screen, lets it fly, can't connect on the three, had a clean look. Williams was 3 of 9 from 3 in the opener versus Wake Forest, but 38% a year ago. Walker again strong to the rack. Turnage tugs down the rebound, off balance. The stick back doesn't fall. Now Walker is tied up with her own teammate, and a foul is called. She was wrestling with Turnage for that offensive rebound. I think they both thought that they were grappling with the Highlander, and instead it'll be a foul on Radford.
And she's able to wrestle it away from Turnage, her own teammate, but we see this penetration goes right down the lane and able to finish. But that's what she's capable of doing, and she is a threat in being a slasher and driving to the lane.
Foul was whistled against Kate Carlson, her first, team second of the quarter. Karen Blair said Talayah Walker, the most physically transformed player on her roster since she arrived in the spring. Finishes at a high level. We saw that a moment ago, and a chance to be a legit two-way player for the Yellow Jackets, as Georgia Tech now stretches this run to 6-0 to begin the quarter, and they lead by 9. And this was an issue for Radford in that opener versus Wake Forest. They had 10 free throw attempts. The Demon Deacons had 30, and that was a big splitting point of what ultimately was a 7-point Radford loss. Yeah,
that was the difference maker in that game, and Wake Forest was able to capitalize, I think, knocking down 20 out of those 30 free throw attempts.
Taylor Walker directs traffic. As Walker fights over the top of the screen. Nice now, runs a side ball screen with Jenkins. Curls and kicks. Taylor Walker lets it fly, doesn't fall from 3. And a nice inside position by Turnage allows Noeto to win the tap. Walker's had the hot hand as Radford races back into its defensive shape. Termis crouching in the post. He wants it. Turnage takes it instead. Swings to Moon. Moon explodes to the rim. Wave it off. It's an offensive foul. Baseline official, I think, was coiled for a block and it counted. Sideline official had the better look, and it's a charge instead on Moon.
And that was a good job by Carlson being in the right positioning. Moon thought she had it. Carlson got her footing and took that charge.
Ooh, I think I might have seen a foot inside the restricted area there.
Yeah.
So maybe Radford a bit fortunate that foul on Moon is her first. Radford still scoreless in the second quarter. Taylor Walker trying to break that on Turnage. Had the scoop altered by Turnage. Turnage slithers into the front court. Walker behind the Termis screen. Misfires the 3, and a loose ball foul on Noeto. Gave up the inside position and then tried to back tap that, and instead is Ines Noeto's his first foul.
Yeah, that was a good job by Joy Williams, getting the positioning, boxing out, old school. drawing that foul.
We've hit timeout, leads by 9, and a similar issue springing up from Monday when Radford lost by 7 to Wake Forest, and that's a discrepancy at the free throw line.
Yeah, you see it right there with the numbers, and right now, you know, with them allowing 10 free throws for Georgia Tech already, and Georgia Tech has been able to capitalize.
Radford shot a higher percentage than Wake Forest. They outscored them 20-6 in second chance points, but
yeah, they rebounded
outscored
with them as well. So
they're outscored -14 though at the free throw line in a 7-point loss to the Demon Deacons, and still in search of their first points of the quarter. Wake Forest did go on an 11-0 run to begin that second quarter and stretch out the lead on Radford. Right now, Georgia Tech on a 6-0 run. Turnage, no looks at Thomas Harris, hit the underside of the backboard, but she got fouled.
I mean, I'm loving the passing by Turnage, and that's a couple of passes or dimes we've seen from her this afternoon, and I think she's showing those glimpses of being that point forward of that combo, you know, where she can also distribute and handle the basketball, and that's something that Coach Blair looks for her, setting up her teammate Thomas Harris, and now she's at the free throw line.
You know you're seeing the floor well found when you don't need to see your target to make that pass. The Asian Thomas Harris, like we had noted, only 5 games played last year because of a stress fracture. Really was frustrating for her. Would have loved to contribute to a Georgia Tech team to reach the NCAA tournament, finished 22-11, 9-9 in the ACC, and as we noted earlier, broke a school record that has stood for 48 years for best start. They began 15-0. And they've stretched the lead out to 11. Catherine Alben back on the floor for Georgia Tech. Former first-team All-Big South guard at Charleston Southern. Her career high was set versus the Highlanders last year against the Highlanders, 29 points. And here come the Jackets again after they once again lock down the doors defensively. Alben steps into the 3, can't connect. Rebound to Williams. If Radford can get some numbers in transition, maybe break the seal there.
They can, and right now, good post presence in the lane.
Stromberg wheeling,
Too
and
much
that'll
time.
be a 3-second violation, yep.
But she was calling for it. She had those numbers, and when she has that jersey, Stromberg up front, you got to give her the ball inside, and Radford was just a little late. She gets called for the 3 seconds.
6th turnover against Radford, and still 4 of 24 from the field.
And
Alben
Radford,
curls around the Thomas Harris screen.
yeah, Radford playing this man-to-man, staying close to the Georgia Tech player.
Thomas Harris off the entry. Had it poked from behind by Williams. She posted it right from her and draws the foul on the Jackets. It'll be on at Thomas Harris.
And that was a good job by Williams. She anticipated that, read it well. She had a nice dig, and that's what you have to do as a guard. Thomas Harris was not expecting it when she made that move. Easy steal for Williams.
Also forces the second foul on Deasia Thomas Harris. Approaching the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. Radford still shut out for the quarter. That'll be another 3-second violation, this time on Nice.
Yeah,
When's the last time you saw back-to-back 3-second counts?
Yeah, that's a long time, but you got to get out of that lane. And even when you're trying to make a move, you saw Nice trying to do something with it, couldn't, but you got to get rid of the basketball, reset.
Turnage sets up Thomas Harris. The skip to Moon. Great ball rotation. Thomas Harris from the foul line, and on the closeout, she got fouled by Haywood. Cherish Haywood trying to use that length to affect Thomas Harris's shot, but caught too much of the body on the landing. Her first, team's third, but it wasn't the act of Thomas Harris to shoot more free throws.
And Thomas Harris, she's been aggressive. Hadn't been knocking down shots yet, but she's at least taking them, forcing Radford to guard her, and they've been fouling her, putting at the free throw line a couple times this afternoon.
Junior from Katy, Texas. 2 of 2 at the free throw line, which is offset 0 of 4 field goal shooting. That makes Georgia Tech 10 of 13 at the foul line.
And like you said, that could be the difference in the game. You know, knocking down free throws, taking advantage of those opportunities, what Georgia Tech has done thus far in this game.
Splits the trip. Jackets up by a dozen. Almost a clean half of their points have come from the free throw line, even though they're just 5 of 20 from the floor. High pick and roll. Taylor turns the corner on Thomas Harris. Heavy on the layup. Haywood, tight ropes and saves it. Shot clock did not reset, though. Radford has to be alert to it. Williams puts it on the deck on Alben and draws the foul on Alben. A scoring drought approaching a quarter long from the end of the first quarter. Foul on Alben is her first, team's fourth.
Well, Radford's trying to still find a rhythm, and Georgia Tech defensively, they've been great in this first half and just making it difficult for Radford to get any type of shot within their offensive sets. And you've just seen a lot of one-on-one, a lot of dribbling, standing in the lane.
A lot of contested shots as well. Alben is blanketing Williams. Look at her chasing her all the way out to midcourt. And that's a 5-second count on Stromberg. She was in no man's land. So a pair of 3-second violations and a 5 count. It just shows how smothering this defense has been against Mike McGuire's Highlanders.
It has, and like you said, that was a great job by Alben closing out Williams so she couldn't come and get that basketball. Kind of just like guarding her like it was just a one-on-one.
Moon lines up the three, misses everything. And the box out, lets Haywood pull it down. Nice. Can't attack. Williams off a sidestep. Good ball rotation, quick trigger, nice, no good from three. Rebound reeled in by Thomas Harris. One and done possessions for the Highlanders inside of 2 minutes to go. Turnage, no looks it out to Moon. Airballed that three from that same spot. She'll retreat and reset. Thomas Harris from deep. Rebound on the run. Williams doesn't have the numbers. Georgia Tech is pitching the second quarter shutout. Less than 90 seconds to go in the half. Here's the take by Williams off the rim. Boy, one of the best looks Radford has had this quarter from their top scorer. Alben coast to coast, but gets called for the carry. Yeah.
And you see Alben's speed. She tried to turn it up to get to the rim. Instead gets called for the carry. But, you know, both of these teams need to just slow it down a little bit offensively. You can see a lot of shots being rushed or just shots not within the offense that are good shots to take.
Rafael, we have seen a grab bag of infrequent calls. 3 seconds, 5-second counts, a carry.
Yeah, it's early in the season.
Yeah, look, you know, check that box early. Why not? Scoring drought up above 11 minutes for the Highlanders. Team that last year was third in the Big South in field goal percentage, led the league in three-point percentage. They're 2 of 11 from deep. Talayah Walker can't rip past Alben. Whipped around and off the hands of Taylor for a turnover. And if there was more hair to lose, it'll be shedding right now as we speak from Mike McGuire.
But I like what Taylor did, trying to keep her team engaged, like, you know, giving high fives. We have it. We just got to calm down a little bit.
In spite of this, only a 12-point deficit. Samuel on the step out, three-pointer, back rim, Turnage keeps that tap alive, but down to Haywood. Haywood defended by Samuel, bounces down to Stromberg. Spins into a double team and a chop loose by Turnage. Alben streaking down floor, using that speed for the lay-in.
And that's what we know Cat can do. She's as quick as a cat, fast. Once she handles that ball well, doesn't get called for the carry that time.
Blink and you'll miss her. Samuel steps in front of the entry pass. It's loose on the floor. Possession arrow gives it to Georgia Tech. They have outscored the Highlanders 11-0 in this second quarter and can hold for the final possession of the half.
And you see another steal for Turnage, and Alben right there to get it, uses that speed and quickness and gets to the rim with the finish.
Well, Mike McGuire, no stranger to Kat Alben and her speed coming from Charleston Southern, and she said she might be the fastest with the ball in her hands that I've ever seen. Moon walks the dog into midcourt, hands off to Alben. The head tap is the call. In the stare down with Dandridge. Loads up the screen from Termis. Termis a pick and pop three to end the half. It's no good. Georgia Tech off the mark there, but they pitched the second quarter shutout, outscore Radford 11-0. And as a result, they head to halftime of their season. Three-point shooter last year, just 2 field goal attempts. She missed both of those as well. So number 4, number 8 in the road blues for Radford. They need to be more involved if they want to make up this 14-point deficit.
They do, and one of those teams we talked about, 11 turnovers in the first half for Radford. They only had 12 turnovers in that loss against Wake Forest. So they have to take care of the basketball. That was one of the keys for Coach McGuire.
Simonson short on the three and cascades out of bounds. Highlanders' last field goal was at the 2:20 mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, and they came out aggressive. I mean, I'm not going to say all the shots were falling in that first quarter, but we saw a different aggressiveness. You know, they had some energy coming off of the bench, and that's just something we haven't seen since the first quarter on the offensive end.
Georgia Tech just 24% shooting in the first half. Erica Moon from 3, that's heavy. Slapped around, and should be a foul called on Termis on the loose ball. Ariadna Termis is first.
She looks a little confused. It was just a swat at the ball trying to get it out of there, but instead gets called for the foul. You know, and those are rebounds you just got to grab. Go get them.
Joy Williams smothered in the forecourt. Turnover. Walker, the ball fake, and a blocking foul.
And that was a good job when we talk about Walker. And she's had a solid showing in this first game and has really shown us signs defensively of her getting some steals. You know, Joy Williams tries to be savvy and go behind her back. Walker was right there for the steal, able to draw the foul on Carlson.
Yeah, Talayah Walker might be the best player on either side today. 7 points, 4 rebounds. That was her first steal, has an assist as well.
Yeah, so far she's having an all-around game.
Started 2 games last year for Penn State. 5'10" sophomore from Odenton, Maryland.
And we talked about it. I mean, she has the experience playing in a tough conference like the Big Ten a season ago, and, you know, has seen and played against some top caliber talent. So she's trying to bring that to the ACC and show what she can do.
Certainly showed some promise, looking for a better showcase here with Karen Blair and the Yellow Jackets. Taylor thinking about the 3, dips behind the screen, takes it in. The scoop is no good, but she was fouled on the way in by Walker.
And that was an aggressive move by Taylor going to the basket. That's something that Coach McGuire needs to see more of from his Radford squad. I mean, when the shots aren't falling from the outside, which they have not, you got to go in attack mode, see if you can draw a foul, get to the free throw line, and that's exactly what Taylor did on that last possession.
Lanaya Foster comes in for Walker. Meanwhile, the grad student Ellie Taylor with a chance for Radford's first points in 13:28 of game time. She bangs it down. And for the first time since the 2:20 mark of the first quarter, they can finally flip another point on the scoreboard for the Highlanders.
Well, maybe that's going to turn on a switch or turn on a light. You need to see that ball go into the rim or to in the basket. And 2 free throws. She was successful on that trip.
Ellie Taylor, just a 52% foul shooter last year. Time for team high honors with 11 points against Wake Forest. A foul off the ball. Will tag Carlson for her second, trying to shuck the cutter. And that's now, in fact, a third on Carlson. And that's Radford's second leading scorer last year.
And that's another reason she can't get into a rhythm. Now with these fouls, she's having to go to the bench.
Yeah, because inbounding, leading by 13. Off the cut, Termis in deep, rattles it in.
And that's a great out-of-bounds play. A nice look for Termis. She has the height advantage. Just get her the ball high so she can keep it up, scores that layup.
6'6" sophomore is Zaragoza, Spain. It'll be interesting to see the continued evolution of Ariadna Termis. Her first 2 years at Tech, better than 50% of her shots found were from three-point range, but has really dedicated herself and committed to being a back-to-the-basket post player. One thing you can never teach is 6'6". The step-back 3 by Williams misses everything. You could tell that was a shot from somebody who's just trying to get her offense going.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to let it fly to see if it can go in, but right now, Radford's still struggling to get into some type of offensive rhythm.
Foster with the up fake. And the pull-up over Williams, no. Termis grabs the rebound. Whipped around to Moon. And you can tell, even though Georgia Tech is shooting 25%, they're not rushing in their offensive sets.
No, they're not. And they're taking shots within their offense. You know, it's just not going down for them. Foster, you know, she has a mid-range game. She can knock that shot down and miss it.
And Moon ripples the nets as the shot clock winds down.
And that's big for her. That's her first bucket of the afternoon, I believe. And, you know, she's able to knock down a big 3 with the shot clock going down. And she struggled offensively, I think, trying to find her rhythm, too, just trying to get her teammates involved as a starting point guard.
And Moon certainly wants to prove herself a respectable three-point shooter. Was 4 of 33 from downtown last year for Texas A&M. Pushes the Georgia Tech lead to 18. Simonson passes on the mid-range, drives right into Termis. The kick out, the three short by Dandridge. Radford 2 of 14 from three and just 4 for 29 for the game. Moon thinking about another three. The sidestep, the pull-up, and that's pure.
And that was a heads-up play. I like the passing, the movement. Turnage gives it quick to Naredo. Naredo sees Moon cutting, gives her the ball. Moon makes the right decision with a couple of dribbles with that mid-range baseline jump shot.
Radford calls timeout as the lead swells to 25 straight points by the sophomore Erica Moon. Quick trigger with the shot clock winding down and then stroking it off the two-dribble pull-up. Georgia Tech leads by 20. Erica Moon played her freshman year at Texas A&M. 5 straight points to prompt that Radford timeout. Karen Blair said she's really settled in offensively the last couple of weeks. You saw it on those last two possessions.
Yeah, and we hadn't seen her take a lot of shots in this game, but the last couple she's taken, they've been right on time. And, you know, as a point guard, she has those eyes where she can throw some dimes, trying to get her teammates involved, but she understands she has to get it going offensively too.
Well, she'll get called for the reach-in as Georgia Tech throws some 2-3 zone out of the timeout. It's Moon's second. Team's third of the quarter. Moon had a season-high 6 points against Tennessee early January of last season. As they logged a season-high in minutes in the Aggies' regular season finale. Jenkins crouching in the post, raises up over Termis. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was a nice shot by Jenkins, and she just sized Termis up and let it fly.
Termis trying to fill the lane, has that pass go through her hands and into Jenkins's.
You see Radford coming out with some newfound energy after that break.
Simonson gets called for a double dribble. Make that Taylor rather, trying to take that gather dribble on Turnage. But good to see Ellie Taylor back on the floor for Radford. She missed all of last season with an ACL tear, the 5'10 graduate student. Started 11 games as a true senior 2 years ago. Inside of 6 minutes, third quarter, Georgia Tech by 18. Termis from the high post. The 17-footer is pure.
And that's something that Termis can do. We talked about being able to hit that three-point shot, but trying to be more intentional of playing with her back to the basket. But when she can shoot and let that fly.
Ooh, she and Jenkins started to trade fire.
I like it. I like it. Jenkins getting some minutes in this game and taking full advantage of it, knocking down a couple of baskets.
Anaya Jenkins, transfer from Towson, had 8 points off the bench against Wake Forest in 17 minutes. 2 more by Noedo.
Good cut, and that was an even better pass on the back door by Termis. We talked about not only can she shoot the basketball, but she's a willing passer at 6'6", can see over the defense, and can drop some dimes herself.
And she's a really good facilitator from the high post. Trying to shade Talayah Walker baseline. The pass out was deflected, but they'll catch Talayah Foster for the foul. Foster's second. Georgia Tech's fourth of the quarter makes them out of fouls to give as we've hit timeout with 4:55 to go in the third quarter. Anaya Jenkins giving a spark offensively to Radford, but is the Jackets still up big? Played collegiately at Quinnipiac and Austin Peay, and she actually overlapped for one season at Austin Peay with Georgia Tech's transfer Talayah Foster.
I mean, that's making some connections there and finding it how we always circle back to Georgia Tech with those family ties, but that's great to see. That's a basketball family.
Yeah, no doubt. Her dad, Curtis Sr., he was kind of the patriarch. He played at Oklahoma City University and played professionally in Venezuela. Alben catch and shoot three, no good. Turned its parachutes in for the rebound. Been a quiet start so far for Catherine Alben. Coming off the bench, the preseason first-team All-Big South transfer from Charleston Southern. Dancing behind that Thomas Harris screen.
But that's something Coach Blair talked with us about. Nice move.
Oh, a great screen by Turnage. Samuel, easy pickings.
Yeah, but with Alben trying to find her rhythm, you know, she's not a natural point guard, but being asked to take on those point guard responsibilities. So she's having to find her shots within the offense.
Yeah, she was just a BGG last year, a bucket-getting guard for Charleston Southern, but accepting the role of point guard with some injuries impacting Georgia Tech's ball handlers. 38-16 Yellow Jackets. The skip, Samuel, now to Turnage. Ambush, oh, she's able to flip it down to Samuel on the back cut.
I mean, that's when you have those long arms, you can make something happen. And she definitely did, looking like it was gonna be a turnover for Turnage. Instead, it turns into an assist.
Turnover, here's Alben coast to coast. Easy bucket by Catherine Alben. She's got 4. Jackets up by 26.
And I like it. After Alben with that steal and bucket, you see Turnage comes, slaps her on the butt, and it's like, good job. That's that team leadership.
Off the roll in her place. Nice, can't convert on the 3. Turnage with it on the run. As Thomas Harris to our right. Another look away pass. Thomas Harris flashes it down. Tell you what, Brianna Turnage is showing off her court vision. That's about the 4th no-look pass that she's distributed today. And another timeout called by Radford.
Right, and you know, that's something that Coach Blair talked about. She talked about Turnage's energy and what she brings to this team with her leadership, and that's something that's been contagious that she wants her teammates or the team to galvanize around, and they are doing it in this 3rd quarter.
Helping stretch Georgia Tech to a 10-0.
That shows you that you're moving the basketball and you're getting shots within your offense or within rhythm.
Williams still looking for her first points. Tries to run Alben into his screen. Taylor back on the floor despite the 3 fouls, and she takes a hip check out top from Foster. A 3rd foul now on Lanaya Foster, and that'll send Carlson to the line on Tech's 5th foul of the quarter.
And right now, Radford's just trying to see what they can make happen. Carlson was very fortunate that she was able to get that foul call on Foster, trying to guard her up top. But Georgia Tech is just being so aggressive defensively and making it very difficult for Radford to get anything going offensively.
Carlson, the junior from Virginia Beach. Mike McGuire calls her one of the best shooters I have ever coached. Doesn't get the roll there at the free throw line. She was 84% at the stripe last year. Coach McGuire did mention she's been dinged up preseason. Just a minor back issue. She really hit her stride in Big South play last year. His honorable mention all-conference, preseason first team all-Big South this year. Can't cash in the 2nd. Allen storming into the forecourt. A 3-pointer, Foster, no good. Backside rebound, Samuel. Ooh. Alben with a relocation, slithering through, and the scoop shot is good.
And I love it. Alben brings the energy too, but we know she can penetrate, score at the rim, even at her size, her quickness and athleticism. She can make something happen.
And Karen Blair calls her dynamic. She is a rim threat. The senior from Snellville, Georgia, one of those mid-major transfers, playing back in home territory. She leads the break. Foster to her right, Crawshaw to her left. Jada Crawshaw, another transfer by way of Long Beach State, getting some run for the first time. Less than 2 minutes, 3rd quarter, Georgia Tech up by 30. Samuel defended at an arm's length by Haywood. Alben spots a seam. She had that jammed out of her hands by Lindsey Williams, the freshman. Stays with Georgia Tech. Nice wall-up defense by the 6'4" Lindsey Williams, who logged 10 minutes against Wake Forest on Monday.
Yeah, Williams was able to jam Alben when she was trying to get that ball to Thomas Harris. Fortunately for Georgia Tech, they maintained the possession.
Inbound thrown away. Carlson trying to go coast to coast on Foster, and that's a 4th foul on Foster.
But that was a good job by Carlson, drawing Foster in. Seemed like Foster was really moving her feet, playing solid defense, but too much body at the end when Carlson was making her move, and Carlson gets the call.
One of Foster's earlier fouls they'd given to someone else. So just a 3rd for Foster, but another free throw trip for Kate Carlson. Started all 31 games last year at a career-high 22 points against Gardner-Webb in the Big South quarterfinals. Missed all 5 of her 3-point attempts against Wake Forest, just 6 points, and 0 of 3 at the free throw line. Just, every shooter has one of those days, and evidently that is the day for Carlson.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, Radford, they haven't gotten many free throws today, but have not been able to knock them down.
Well, he gets on the board, but she and Joy Williams, only 1 combined points. They combined for almost 22 a game last year. Foster penetrating and wheeling out. Alben thought about the 3. Can slash her way through on Williams. Crawshaw to the bucket. Jada Crawshaw, the junior from Darwin, Australia, with her first points as a Jacket.
Yeah, Crawshaw, she has that potential, has good size, can get to the basket, and gives Georgia Tech another offensive threat on this floor.
There's a push-off on the lob. They'll tag Simonson for the foul. third on Simonson. And Jada Crawshaw averaged 10.4 points, 4.8 rebounds a game last year for Long Beach State. Was Big West all-freshman the season prior. 5 career double-doubles. And one of those rangy wings that Karen Blair has assembled. Foster, no good from 3. Long Karen pulled down by Crawshaw. Georgia Tech is also waxing the glass. Plus 20 on the boards, and Alben flying in for the lay-in.
And you're seeing the frustration a little bit on Williams' face. I mean, when you're trying to guard somebody like Alben, she's just lightning quick. That was a strong, quick move to the basket, and Alben gets another finish at the rim.
6 points in the third quarter. It's a 16-1 Georgia Tech run. Shot clock is off. Final 10 seconds of the third quarter. Worked around to a posting. Simonson turns, hooks, and draws the foul.
Yeah,
nice job to initiate contact. She knew she had Crawshaw on her hip.
Crawshaw was looking like that was all ball, but got a little bit of the body and trying to defend. And you see a couple of dribbles, little body on that shot, and she gets the call.
Good footwork regardless by Simonson. Nearly had a double-double in her season debut. 11 points, 9 rebounds against Wake Forest. Splashes in the first. Gives her 3 points to go along with 4 rebounds. There's something interesting in what will make her a fun player to watch if you're a Radford fan. She was a 3-sport athlete in high school, but Mike McGuire said she never really is focused solely on basketball, so there's still a lot of upside yet for her. And Mike also said the amount of 20 rebound games that she had in high school was unbelievable and really had him tantalized for her potential. Final 4 seconds. Alben down, floor and blink. And Crawshaw can't get that 3 off in time. 3 quarters in the books in the season opener for Georgia Tech. They continue to pour it on in their college careers elsewhere. Turnage, Moon, Alben, Foster, Samuel among them, along with the freshman Michaela Taylor. And you know that has to be such a boost to these players trying to restart their careers, but doing so back home.
It is, especially when you can have that family support close. You can go home if you need to, but still be far away from home enough just to have your independence, but to get your groove on or get it back playing basketball in your hometown.
As we begin the fourth quarter with an attack to the rack by Talayah Walker. Give Walker double digits, the first to 10 points for Georgia Tech.
Well, you saw what Georgia Tech did in that third quarter, best quarter of the season for them, shooting 67%. That was pretty incredible, 12 of 18 from the field.
Best quarter of the season. Now, they've only played 3 quarters,
right,
but yes.
Right.
Point stands. Crawshaw took a bump, and she draws the foul. Jada Crawshaw, not one of those players returning home. The native of Darwin, Australia, most northerly of Australia's capital cities, began her career at Long Beach State.
Right, she went
making
farther
the trip
away
cross
from
country.
home.
Yeah, even farther away. And she'll shoot a pair of free throws. Trying to follow in the footsteps of another former Yellow Jacket and Australian native, and Bridget Ardassi. Was a second-round pick in the WNBA draft after a 4-year career on the flats.
Right, played with the Dream for a couple of seasons, and Bridget was a big asset for this Georgia Tech team during her tenure at Georgia Tech.
Crawshaw was a 58% foul shooter at Long Beach State a season ago. Drains the second. Radford inbounding and running up the floor quickly, but they can't finish underneath with Taylor. Just 6 of 38 field goal shooting for Radford. That's 15.8%. They played Wake Forest close on Monday. Actually up by 2 at half before they fell by 7. Not going to have the same fortune this afternoon. Another free throw trip cup coming, this time for Thomas Harris.
And that was a hard fall, but she gets right back up. And it was a nice lead pass, but she runs into 2 Radford players that basically cause her to fall, and she's able to draw the foul. And you know, I like what I'm seeing from Thomas Harris in this game, being more active offensively. We know she's a great rebounder. We've seen her mid-range shot. She was able to knock down that earlier. Let's see if she can knock down these 2 free throws.
Solid stat line so far for the junior from Katy, Texas, who, as you mentioned, can continue to carve out a role in Karen Blair's front court.
Especially coming off the bench. I mean, her freshman year, at Georgia Tech, you saw aspects of her being a good rebounder, solid defender, and being able to score the ball. And the injury last season really limited her. And this season, she's coming back, and she's trying to make a name for herself and see where she can find her niche within this system.
I'd be impressed as well with just the unselfishness of Georgia Tech moving the ball offensively.
Right.
As the foul line jumper falls. But, I mean, they have 17 assists, Fallon, on 19 made field goals. And one! And that is Lanaya. Make that Talayah Walker once more.
Yeah, and Walker's so strong, that upper body strength. You know, we've talked about it. She was conscious of getting in the weight room, getting stronger, you know, to use that to her ability to be more effective at finishing at the rim. And we've seen that all afternoon. She has finished shots at the rim, and now she has the and one. Doesn't get the extra one, though.
She stays at 12 points, leading the Yellow Jackets. Her career high last year as a freshman, 18 against number 4 Southern Cal in Los Angeles. Moon whips it ahead to Noedo. Angling in, dropping it off. Crawshaw, too easy.
Right. That's just the old drill, the 2-on-1, and the right decision by Noedo to pass it.
Taylor challenging on Thomas Harris, draws the foul.
And you see right now, Radford trying to make something happen. And Taylor trying to galvanize her team. A little frustrated that no one was back, but she was able to draw that foul.
Yeah, I like the mindset here for Radford this final quarter. Early offense, take that ball off the net quick if you're Mike McGuire.
Right.
Try to get something before Georgia Tech's defense can get set. And Ellie Taylor will look to oblige. Began her career at Northern Kentucky, native of Bardstown, Kentucky. It's a Radford team that features 9 underclassmen. So Ellie Taylor's in the minority, just one senior, one grad transfer, but a lot of promise still with this Radford team, preseason 3rd in the Big South. Walker takes it strong to the hole again.
And that was a good job by Moon, pushing that ball up, seeing that Walker was ahead of her and had just one defender. And Walker able to make something happen again, going back to the free throw line. I just say it's that aggressiveness. She's been aggressive all game long and getting to the basket.
That was an Adeline Traylor Walker, no relation. Her first. Noedo and Walker have led the charge offensively for the Yellow Jackets, who are shooting 45% for the game. Tech continues its non-conference schedule Sunday when they welcome in Princeton. After a 15-0 start to the season last year, a school record, which helped pave the way for an NCAA tournament appearance.
I know, but this is a new day, you know, under Coach Blair's regime, and you know they're trying to make their name and make a statement. It's going to be work in progress, but you got to pick up as many wins, especially at home, but in the non-conference schedule to prepare you for ACC play. And Georgia Tech's doing it this afternoon.
A dribble drive, a layup no good by Traylor Walker. Jackets about 7:35 from giving Karen Blair her first game ball, her first victory. Crawshaw
I know.
with a nice finesse shot.
And I really liked it. You know, when we talked to Coach Blair, we were asking her, you know, if it's butterflies, is she nervous? And she was like, no, it's just another day.
Yep.
And I think she's just excited to have this opportunity. But, you know, she shows high energy, you know, and patience with this team, understanding they have to learn her new system. And it's going to come in time, but this is a good showing for her first game.
That's a tough bucket by Traylor Walker. To force that ball up. And the pass thrown away as Crawshaw was trying to thread the needle. Turnover, Georgia Tech's 12th. Only the 3rd of the half, though. And also, Karen Blair was excited because some of her former high school teammates from Gull Lake, Michigan, the Gull Lake Blue Devils, in the building at McCamish.
Yeah,
watching her former teammate earn her first win as head coach.
Yeah, she said her high school teammates, and she'll have some others in attendance for the game on Sunday against Princeton. But, you know, it's always great when you have that support. And, you know, really excited to see what Coach Blair can do as lead of this program and to see the growth of Georgia Tech.
And was a part of teams that won 449 games across their 25-plus years as an assistant, beginning at alma mater, SMU, Colgate, Texas Arlington, North Texas, spent some time in the Commonwealth of Virginia as associate head coach at VCU, so surely familiar with the Radford program. And then the last 7 years as the top lieutenant for Brenda Freeze at Maryland. Last 5 of those as associate head coach. And Brenda's sister Marcia is now Karen Blair's top assistant at Georgia Tech.
Right, just keeping it within the family.
Hey. Freeze family has been very good to Karen Blair.
Right. Pay it forward.
Marcia, no slouch herself. She spent some time as a head coach in the D1 ranks. Free throw good by Angelina Nice. Radford will have its home opener against Emory and Henry in 2 days' time. And the foul sends Termis to the line.
And, you know, Coach McGuire, he talked with us about that. You know, they played against Wake for their home opener, Georgia Tech today for their home opener, and they finally get to go home and have their home opener against Emory Henry to see, you know, if they can pick up their first win of the season if it doesn't go well in this one, which with the lead right now, it's looking like Georgia Tech may get this one.
Termis up to 5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for the junior. There's Radford's upcoming schedule. We'll dip back into the ACC, taking on Virginia in Charlottesville. That was a team that Radford beat back in the 2018-2019 season.
Yeah, they definitely have had some wins over the years during Coach McGuire's tenure against ACC teams. We were hoping to get one this afternoon, but you know, these are the games that prepare you for conference play, and they were already picked third, finished third a season ago, and have aspirations of winning the Big South.
And perhaps in that home opener, Coach McGuire can tie the Radford Hall of Famer Pat Barrett for the school record in career wins. Samuel short on the 3. Rebound ripped down. Walker up for 2 more.
And that just shows pure strength, energy, and effort. You know, going after that rebound, staying with it, and she gets rewarded with the layup.
Talayah Walker 2 points shy of a career high, 16 for her to go along with 7 rebounds. It's been a dominant day on the glass for Tech. 45 boards to 19 for Radford. So he puts it on the floor, skips to Nice. She strokes the 3, no good. Nice has one of the Highlanders' 2 threes, trying to steal that up-court pass. Walker down to a cutting Termis. She's so good cutting off the ball. An easy drop in the bucket by Termis.
And you see Snoop looking at her saying, too small, you know, that size. I love it.
I think Ariadna Termis too demure to give it too small. But her teammates more than happy to pantomime that for her. Foul on Samuel is her first. Alben subs back in, replacing Ines Nueto. Nueto 9 points, but 7 of those came in the first quarter and really set the tone for that Tech offense.
And I know this has been a treat for Education Day. These school kids from Atlanta Public Schools really enjoying what they're seeing from Georgia Tech. Probably get the energy to attend more games.
Yeah, and you know what? There was that field goal a moment ago by Termis to take Georgia Tech from 66 to 68 points. Good thing Termis wasn't fouled and made that first free throw, because these kids would have broken the sound barrier once they saw that 6-7 on the scoreboard. We've seen a lot of Education Day games across opening week in women's college basketball, and you only need to glance at social media to know when that scoreboard hit 6-7, these kids hit the roof.
Yeah, it's an eruption.
Walker pounding it inside. Off to Termis from 16, no good. And the tap controlled by Kira Dandridge, the St. Bonaventure transfer. Appeared in all 31 games last year. And that ball is tapped out last by Georgia Tech, and we hit our final timeout. 4:52 remaining, Georgia Tech up 68-26. Blowout win for Karen Blair here in the home debut. Formed player on her roster since they assembled everyone in the summer, and turning those gains to buckets. 16 points, 2 shy of a career high. 7 rebounds, 2 shy of a career high. Radford possession out of the timeout. Sawi with the spin. She's maroon, plays it back to Williams. Joy Williams still scoreless today. Radford's leading scorer a season ago, trying to get the assist here. That's off the mark, and Crawshaw pulls down the rebound. Now, there will be better days ahead for Joy Williams. She did not make preseason first team All Big South because she won a raffle after earning first team All League honors last season. But And this has been a day where she could never get offense going. A legal screen will give the ball back to Radford.
You got to applaud Georgia Tech's defense, the guard play, whether it was Alben or Moon. You know, they were intentional of denying her the basketball, sometimes even face guarding her to make sure she couldn't touch it. And that made it difficult for Radford to get into their offensive sets. They know how critical and how important she is. And look with the rip.
Oh, and Alben almost picked the pocket of Williams. Body's thrashing for it. It comes to Crawshaw on the run. She has her pocket pick, but it deflects off the heel of Sawi. Will stay with Georgia Tech. Although Mike McGuire, time and score what it is, still loving the hustle of his team.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing. The energy level in the fight has never gone away for Radford in this game, but it's just been a difficult showing because they just cannot get the basketball in the hoop. And right now, looking at another single-digit scoring quarter.
Oh, Alben bounced it off the inbounder's back, and she connects on the three.
I mean, she was playing a game of 21 by herself, right? Getting right behind that three-point line and knocking down the three. And the energy back on defense right in Williams' grill.
Backdoor feed and the finish by Sawi. Off the dish from Williams. Williams trying to impact scoring with her passing. Crawshaw now. The fall away, and she hooks it home.
And I like it. That's the second time we've seen Crawshaw shoot a shot like that with a hook. Something she looks like she's comfortable in doing.
Get some inside-out game to her. Pair of double-doubles last season for Long Beach State. Trying to defend at the back hip of Dandridge down low. The pull-up down the well. Cherish Haywood. Younger brother of a former Yellow Jacket.
And that was a good-looking shot by Hayward.
Yeah. Obviously, Oklahoma not prime recruiting real estate for Radford, but Coach McGuire said, I saw Cherish at the last tourney of the July evaluation period 2 years ago, and boy, was I glad I did. Might be less enthused to see this on the film. Catherine Alben. Yeah, sometimes you turn your back to the inbounder. This is what can happen, and she wanted to race right out to that three-point line and get a highlight.
And you should never do that underneath the basket. That's the setup, but it was just a smart heads-up play by Alben. She's able to knock down that three.
Yeah, normally you bounce that ball off the inbound defender's back. You're just going straight to the layup. Nope.
She's like, nah, I'm going for the three.
I'm going for the triple. Well, never too early in your Georgia Tech career to make a case for a SportsCenter top 10 plays. Thomas Harris, 7 points. Give her 8 to go along with 8 boards. Nice debut as well for somebody who was handcuffed by injury last season and limited to 5 games, and showcasing how she can be a very viable piece for Karen Blair.
Right, and a strong showing on the free throw line, 6 of 8, but 8 points and 8 rebounds for Thomas Harris this afternoon.
Good day at the foul line for this entire Georgia Tech team. 74%, 20 of 27. Taylor initiates the offense. Radford Walker finds a sliver of space and lays it in. Radford Walker's had some impressive one-on-one moves.
She did. We saw it in that first quarter when she came off the bench and, you know, had that nice little Euro step fake to the rim and was able to knock down a three. Been pretty quiet since, but, you know, she has some talent.
Leaves the Highlanders with 9 points, and off that high reverse, Thomas Harris will wear out that nail again. 2 more free throws for the junior. Adeline Traylor Walker was Big South All-Freshman a season ago, started the last half of the regular season. Radford fans surely know her older sister, Ashlyn, was a former Big South Freshman of the Year, now playing at Stephen F. Austin, and then her other sister, Patience, played at Radford as well.
Right, and Coach McGuire said that Adeline's the last one of the group. He got the baby, so no more coming from that family unless it's a few years from now.
He got a lot of mileage out of that hyphen.
He did. He did.
2:30 to go, and the second free throw nestles in for Thomas Harris. He becomes a third Yellow Jacket in double digits. The drive and dish. Haywood tees up the three. Doesn't get the bounce. Crawshaw saves it.
That was good hustle by Georgia Tech and smart move by Samuel just to slow it down. Good shot for Georgia Tech.
Gentle jumper by Alben. 13 for the game, but 11 of those have come in the second half. Georgia Tech shooting 70% after halftime. After shooting below 30% in the first half, as that three connects by Haywood. Cherish Haywood swishing only Radford's third three of the day. Less than 2 minutes to go. Here's Talayah Foster. She wants to turn around, and she connects.
And Coach Blair says she has one of the best mid-range games she's seen, trying to get her three-point shot to improve, but it was smooth on that mid-range jump shot.
10th Yellow Jacket to score. Alben a 2-on-2. She is a one-woman fast break. She gets tied up by Dandridge with a foul called.
And that just shows her speed and quickness. You know, it's so much energy, like a fireball going down the court. And Alben's able to draw another foul, get to the free throw line. But that's something that Georgia Tech's going to need this season, to show her speed and quickness.
Well, when she transferred to Georgia Tech and Mike McGuire saw who his team was opening with, he thought, oh, man, we got to see Kat Alben again. After a decorated career at Charleston Southern, 2 games last season against the Highlanders, 23.5 points, including a career-high 29. And also the season prior, she set a career-high with 5 steals against Radford. Swishes the first free throw. And Alben being a menace as well with her defense. She's got 2 steals today. Raider high school ball up the road at Grayson High, native of Snellville, Georgia. One of those productive mid-major transfers playing back home for new head coach Karen Blair. Haywood trying to attack. Funnels it to Sawi, drives into a double team. That leaves Haywood open. The pump fake, the rocker step over to Sawi with the shot clock winding down. An air ball, stick back is up, no good, but a foul is called.
And that was good ball rotation by Radford, you know, looking for the open shot or a good shot, moving the ball. Didn't fall, but now you got Radford back at the free throw line, trying to see if they can capitalize after getting that offensive rebound.
Carlson's Anna Chacha to the free throw line, the 6'2 freshman originally from Tanzania. Played her prep school ball here in the U.S. 4-player freshman class for the Highlanders gets her first point as a Highlander. 82-36, Georgia Tech has put the Highlanders in the vice grip this morning at McCambus Pavilion. Set to start the year 1-0 and a 13th consecutive home opening victory for the Yellow Jackets.
And this is a great start, you know. It's a new regime, a new day at Georgia Tech. And what a win for Coach Blair in her head coaching opener. And I know she hopes to see many more like these to come.
As with every head coach, a lot to clean up between games 1 and game 2. And for Georgia Tech, they'll try to follow up on this one Sunday afternoon versus Princeton. Radford heads home on Saturday to take on Emory and Henry in search of their first win of the season. And for Mike McGuire, a chance to tie that school record for career wins. Alben content to dribble out the clock. Georgia Tech shooting 50% for the game. Distributed the ball well, held Radford to 22% shooting. The offense carried them, the defense got it done as well, and Karen Blair has their first win as a college head coach in emphatic fashion. 82-36 the final over Radford.
Yeah, and this was an impressive showing, you know, not knowing what you were going to see from this team. You said it, 8 transfers, 10 newcomers on this squad, and Georgia Tech and their staff just trying to figure it out, and they get the home victory this afternoon.
Led by 16 points from one of those transfers, Talayah Walker. 11